Have you ever stopped to think about the fans behind a band? What is it about the music that keeps fans coming back for more? Or is there more? My name is Renae Lipsmeyer, and I am the host of this podcast, The Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Each week, a fellow DMB fan joins the show to discuss their journey with the band. Welcome to the Space Between Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of one band. And if you've never listened to this podcast before, the one band that we talk about is almost 35 years old. It started in 1991. And a lot of you guys that are listening to this were not even born in 1991. So they've literally been performing longer than some fans have been alive. But there are also fans that have been there from the very first day. And each episode of this podcast is a different fan sharing their journey with this band because it all looks very different in the time frame that you found them. What was the band doing then? Because if you know a little bit about Dave Matthews Band, you know there's been like the decades. That's kind of how I like to describe their changes, because we have the 90s, and we have the 2000s, 2010s, now we're in the 2000s. And so every decade has been very different, at least for me. And so I like hearing all the different aspects of just people's travels, people's thoughts on their music, things that this music has helped people get through emotionally, physically, spiritually. Each story has been so unique. And so there are almost 200 different Dave Matthews Band fan stories right here on this podcast. So you can listen to them in any order. If you find one that you don't like, cool. Go to the next one because it's completely different. So you'll find at least one story that you can maybe just like identify your fanship in. I know that I have been able to do that with so many fans that I've talked with, just being like, okay, I'm not the only one that's thinking this, right? Like, and there's some comfort in that, especially when your favorite band is almost 35 years old. I've had guests that have been on this show that have been under 10, over 10, like 13, 15, 18-year-old in his first year of college that just this band means the world to him. And then, like I've said, fans of every age, is people that are in retirement are really traveling now to see the band because they've been working their whole lives and they just haven't had that luxury, or they have had kids and now they're off and they're able to travel. So many great stories. And of course, this episode is another one of those. I have a guest that loves Dave Matthews Band, and he has an interesting story because, well, I'm not going to spoil it for him.
Hi, Renae. Thanks for having me on. I am David.
David, I'm so excited for you guys. You're on fire. You're touring a lot. You're on the road more than you're at home, which brings up so many questions.
25, yeah, like it was our biggest year for growth as a business. It's very exciting to visualize what we can achieve. And this is something Gary and I talk about a lot. And he was on the show recently or just before me. So,
yeah,
the feeling is very exciting. It's also kind of heavy. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, to do anything in life like this, like a business or just a huge undertaking. It's a good feeling of pride too, because the four main managers, which we can get into, but my top guys and myself, we've put this together brick by brick for a long time. It all feels just nice to have built something with people that you're close to and that you really enjoy being with, because we're basically a family. So,
yeah.
I don't know. It's a mix of excitement and pride, and then also and just a huge workload, and also a little bit of just, a little bit scary too. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot at stake, especially when you've built something. And I know that people that are listening to this that know about you guys may know about the history of you guys, because the Dave Matthews Tribute Band has been a band for a while, for 20 years.
Yeah. So it has been around for it has a super long history, and there's been so many iterations of it and different members who've come in and out. And it's a whole onion that you could just keep going on layer by layer. But I kind of trickled into it about 2017. I was hired as just basically a backup or an alternate player for another drummer, and just kind of stepped in to play a show. I drove down to Pittsburgh, which is a couple hours down the road, and played the show. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. And then the second show, we had to go over to Virginia Beach. And I remember like setting up on a drum riser, and I had never set up on a drum riser like ever in my life. And I remember that people in the band were like, "You've never been on a drum riser?" And I was like, "No, like I don't do this." So I wasn't like a regular gigging musician by any means. Like I wasn't playing at all. So, but obviously it was awesome. I had like a wonderful time, met some amazing people, and I just kept playing with them, kept on getting hired. And then around COVID, there was just change in management and so on. And I kind of was able to inherit or take the band. And we found our new singer, Gary, and we just started to go from there. We just pushed and wanted to just play music. And that's kind of how we ended up here, is it ended up now turning into a business and everything like that. And
that's not something that we talk about often, is the business side. We are so focused on this podcast about just the fan side of it. I think that I can say safely that people are going to find the business side of it very interesting, because it's something that we don't think about often. And what you're doing is so much work at this point, at this stage of the band's life. Because, we can remember even pictures, or I can remember seeing pictures of Dave Matthews and the dudes loading in and out of their own van when they first started. I mean, of course, to get where they are now has been a 35-year progression. It's taken them 35 years to get where they are now, right? Like, and they've been famous, of course, before now, but like it took time. They did the work. And I feel like you guys are in that season of life where you're loading in, you're loading out, you're doing it all, you're driving, you're doing everything. And what does that look like? Like just, to a day-to-day basis.
It's super important for us to have people to know that like we don't own any of this, the music or anything. We're like paying tribute to something we love. Like I don't even like tribute bands for a lot of the time. So like it was important for us to just like, I don't know, we just wanted people to realize that we're just like paying tribute to this, and we don't want any credit for anything other than celebrating the music of the band with people like you, and like just that classic sound that everyone fell in love with. It is an interesting perspective because we don't write any music, and that's obviously, pretty clear by the band name. So like, so we're always thinking about efficiencies and stuff like that. And we're always thinking about like, how do we grow, and like, how do we just, do this the right way? It's a lot of stuff that you would never think on like behind the scenes type of thing. Like the playing is 2 hours of the day, right? Like where you see us play music. I mean, there's
right.
tons of other like amount of time on the road where we're just working. Like you've seen us like driving, loading in, setting up. It's very much like hard work, blue collar work. So it's like, I don't know. It's a lot to consider in that way.
If you are just now getting into the music of Dave Matthews Band, like I said earlier, the decades, as I call them, they're all just so unique. And so, a lot of us weren't around in 91. I was 11 and 9. A lot of you guys were not even born in 91. I was not into Dave Matthews Band at age 11. There are 11-year-olds that were, but like I was not there yet. I was not ready to receive that yet. So the beginning times, 91 to like 98. I like to give just like that time frame right there, because 98 we introduced a new member to the band. And so time 91 to 98 is really kind of where y'all like to focus. Now, obviously, from time to time, you guys go past 98 and bring in that Butch Taylor sound, which is always so fun to catch that part, because again, I wasn't around for that time period to see it done and to be in the room and have that feeling. You guys really do a solid job. And
it's only Zach, one and only on the keys. Yep. He's like, Zach. He's just got it. He's got all the sounds. There's a million like different noises he can make on his keyboard, and they're all spot on to Butch. So he's the one and only.
So let's talk about touring, because that's one of the spiels, right? Is like you guys tour just everywhere from East Coast to West Coast. And how do you guys do all of that? What does that look like as far as like, because I know people are like, hey, come here. Do you take requests on where to go? How does that all work?
Man, touring is just like a whole beast in itself. And there's so much that goes into it, from anything from a physical standpoint. Like, do you have the means to do it? Do you have the right vehicle? Do you have the right gear? You know what I mean? But it's also, there's a lot of non-tangible things that go into it too, which, I mean, one of them being relationships. I mean, without a good agent, I mean, who has those relationships with venues and can route tours, which is a whole skill and full-time job in itself. I mean, it really just comes from, again, like I mentioned it earlier, like a brick by brick thing, right? Like putting it all together. So being on the road it's also a mindset thing. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to just,
Yeah.
yeah, but so it could be, touring could be as simple as like, hey, we got a great gig offer, down in Florida. And then, our agent can go and say, hey, like, let's route down and back up. And he leverages and uses his relationships to build those tours for us. And, there is a lot of conversations about like, hey, do you want to take this show? It's a really low offer, but it'll help pay for some hotel rooms and some gas. And it's like, maybe you could build this market or whatever it is. And you start to think about stuff like that, versus do we take time off to rest because we have a big show coming up? Like, so there's a lot of conversations about like, how much do we want to work versus like, resting and whatever. Like, there's just so much that goes into it. And it's a skill in itself just to learn how to tour in all those ways. And that's something that we've all grown this year. Noah, Tim, Gary, and myself is like really learning how to tour and like finding what works for us. It's just been like, that's a huge thing that no one could ever teach you about touring, just how to live in it, really.
So you're doing a lot of the social media right now. You've got some cool things going on, like you've got a vlog. Talk about that for people that may not be in the know, that you even have a video side of y'all's fun story behind the scenes. Where can one find this, and talk about it a little bit?
The vlogs, it's a funny, like we have an alternate sax player in Buffalo, Eric. He's just a monster on the sax and good dude, and has toured with us here and there in the past. And like, we're joking about it one day. We were talking about horror vlogs. We were talking about how stuff like that, like I enjoy watching it. And he goes, you should do that for you guys, like even just like for your own sake to be able to watch it. Or just because it's cool what you're doing. I mean, we're doing everything ourselves. Like we're driving ourselves everywhere. We're doing like I said, like loading in ourselves. Like, you know what I mean? So, I just said, you know what, like, fuck it. Like, I think that's a cool idea. So I don't know. I don't know how to vlog. I just have my phone and I just started to like capture whatever.
Yeah.
Like driving down to Alabama was the first one. And then the second one was hanging out in Daytona Beach in Florida. And then the third one was St. Augustine, Florida, like just whatever the heck we're doing. And honestly, like, I think the thought process was like, why not just do this for us? It's fun to watch. I think the first one I posted or the second one, Noah, like he said, hey, it was like funny and it was fun to watch the video, like just for my sake, and if people think they're cool, like that's awesome. If not, like it's obviously doesn't matter, but it's just another way we can show people just kind of like some guys having a good time playing music, and another way to just connect with, like I said, our people. Right. And, not like to step away from that, like, self-important tribute band thing as much as possible. Like to just be like, we're just a bunch of kind of goofy dudes, like doing our thing. We like Dave. We like to play it. Like, here's some vlogs, and they are on YouTube. Yeah. Just search the Dave Matthews Tribute Band on YouTube and you will find them.
Easy peasy. So I watched them, and what I found that was fun for me, like from my side of everything, was that there was like a brotherhood that was very clear in all of them. Like, you guys are just hanging out like your family. So, I mean, is that what it's like?
Yeah, I mean, it is like a brotherhood, like for sure. Because I mean, there's times like we have great days together, and there's times we have like really tough days, and like days where you might want to like strangle one of the other guys in the band, and they might want to strangle me. Like, it's like
right,
all like it's all there. Like,
that's family though, right?
Exactly. And I mean, like, it's more so just to be like, you know what, like like I'll pull out the camera when there's something interesting. My phone, like I have so many clips that I don't even use because they're just trash. Like they're not,
yes.
But it was just meant to be fun. Like, I don't know. I like to do video editing. Like I enjoy making our music performance videos and everything, and the reels and stuff. So like, I don't know. I like to mess around in editing software, and I don't know. I find that to be, it's weird to think that that's like quote unquote like my job, like, but it is cool to think that I use like video editing in a professional sense. I don't have like any skill in that way. Like, and that's really the truth. Like, I just do it like in a poor man's way, and I think it's fun. So I don't know. I also, and this is something in the band too. Like, I love to watch like content on YouTube, like people just vlogging themselves or like whatever it
Mhm.
might be. And I don't like watch like cable TV. I don't like, I'm actually into that type of content. So I think making it is fun for me too. And I just, if I copycat what other people do, I'm like, oh, that was cool. So I'll
Yeah.
just like think about how I can apply that to DMTV and like, I don't know. It just, that's how it evolved. And I have probably like 10 episodes worth of footage that I've been sitting on. So I've been trying to, I think we got 3 of them out now, and I've been trying to get that footage out more
But
that
time
I'm
is
now.
hard to find. I am very sure of that for you.
Yeah. People are like, where's more tour vlogs? And I was like, if I had 10 minutes, to make one, if it could be done in 10 minutes, they'd be up. You know what I mean? So,
Right.
but no, they're
Right.
fun to
Right.
make. They're more of like a break from like the serious shit that we have to do
Exactly.
and all the serious
Exactly.
work that I have to do on the back end, like the
Mhm.
emails and the advancing and like the marketing and everything, the finances, like all of it, like the forecasting, whatever you can think of, like doing that type of work is more so just like a break. So that's why I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it totally. So if someone wants to check out tour dates, of course, we've told them definitely go to the website, check out all of the socials. But give us a sneak peek of what 2026 is going to look like.
Everyone is like really dialed in on doing this. We have a great team in place. Something for 2026 that is exciting is we're going all the way. We're going all the way to California and back in March, which is just like an achievement in itself to be like, hey, we're going to go coast to coast on the ground. Like, that's pretty cool. So that's an exciting thing. And I'll probably vlog the shit out of that because, like, how cool would it be to like, I don't know, people like just living through that with us, So that'll be a fun thing to
Yeah.
share with
Just living
people.
through that.
I've been fortunate enough to drive cross country recreationally when I was younger, and then also I've driven to Colorado and back many times with a band. So like, I mean, that for me, I'm like, oh, we're just going again. But I realize that a lot of
Mhm.
people dream about doing that at when they retire or whatever. So that'll be a fun thing to do. But I think it's just going to be more of like a pro delivery to people, and I mean that like the way that we are received by people. I think we're investing a lot in our sound, who's working with us on front of house and so on and so forth. Like, we're investing a lot into that to earn people come support us and all that stuff and pay money to come see us. And it's like, we want to earn that from people. You know what I mean? Like, give the best we
Yeah.
can, invest in the sound, like just all the things that we never could before because we were building everything else up,
Mhm.
like trying to find money to buy gas. So it's
Yeah.
like, I think
Yes.
it's exciting in that way for 2026 is that like we can just polish everything and I don't know. It'll be good. Coast to coast, baby. That's the highlight.
It's incredible. We all cannot wait to watch it. And yes, there will be opportunity for vlogs because you're going to be in the van for a very long time. So I know
Oh
you'll be
yeah.
on your phone, just start recording shit like randomly. Here we are in the
Noah's
middle
supposed
of
to help me.
Kansas.
Noah's supposed to help me start filming these. Noah's stepping up. Noah's stepping up. He's like taking on more responsibility. He's got it.
Noah, Noah.
Everyone loves Noah.
Such a big fan. We love Noah. Well, you guys are all so good. You're so talented. You're professionals at what you do. You're a professional drummer. That is what you do. That is your profession right now. I mean, you do so much more, but you guys, I'm telling you, if you haven't checked out the Dave Matthews Tribute Band, you have to do it. Dave Matthews Tribute Band plays all over all year long, so you don't have to
Yeah, we do.
wait.
Oh yeah.
You don't have to wait. You can have it. You guys are a lot more accessible. You're everywhere. Now you're adding California to the mix, which is, I know a lot of people in California, I've talked to them. They messaged me immediately once they heard that
I'm
you guys
stoked.
were going to be out there, and
I'm
there
stoked to
there are
go.
people
Yeah.
waiting for you. There are people waiting for you, and that's exciting. So I'm so excited to be capturing this part of the journey. Hopefully these videos will be something you could look back on in many years ahead and just be like, yeah, that was a tough time, but it was also such an amazing time in that period
Mhm.
of my life. And so thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for kind of just giving us like a behind the scenes sneak peek of what it's like to not only be a badass drummer, but also to be like a businessman and then all these other things you got. Guys, if you're listening to this on a podcast app, just know that you can watch this on YouTube, just simply under the Space Between podcast. And it's easy to find who is going to be on what show. It's simply labeled guest and then it says the name. So you can search for anyone, see if you know anybody. You never know who's going to be on the show. It might be someone in the same city as you. It might be a person that you sat next to at a concert. You just never know. So be sure to check them out. There's at least a show out every week, but sometimes I just throw 3 out. You just never know what you're going to get. So follow the show on social media. That way you kind of know what's ahead. I've got some big plans in the future, so definitely stay locked in. Again, be sure to subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you are on a podcast app, be sure to leave a review. Give me some stars. That enables the show to kind of be carried out to other people that may have an interest in listening to something Dave Matthews Band related. But guys, until the next time, peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band. Thank you, David.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.